Welcome to the tree preservation portion of the residential grading and servicing pre-consultation. Trees provide many ecological, social, and financial benefits to our community. They provide habitat for wildlife, help to keep our air clean, and reduce stormwater runoff. Tree protection measures that are required for RGS projects help preserve Markham's urban forest canopy. Markham's bylaws were most recently updated in 2023 and now protect all privately owned trees with a trunk diameter of 20 centimeters or greater, as well as city-owned trees of any size. Permits are required for all RGS applications for any tree removals or tree injury. This includes encroachment into tree protection zones. A tree assessment and preservation plan, or TAP, is the first item that you will need to provide. An arborist must assess all trees within 6 meters of the site. The TAP provides us with inventory data such as tree species, location, and size, as well as a picture of the overall conditions of trees prior to construction. The TAP identifies trees to be protected, trees that must be removed, and trees that might face potential impacts from construction. The TAP identifies the locations of tree protection fencing. TAPs can include the compensation value of trees that are proposed for removal or injury. This is an example of a tree preservation plan drawing. It shows a scale drawing of the site with all of the trees identified by number. It shows their species, size, condition, as well as an action, such as preserve, injure, or remove. It also shows where tree protection measures must be put into place. Markham tree preservation requires a qualified tree expert to prepare the tree assessment and preservation plan. You will also need the services of a qualified tree expert or arborist to safely perform any pruning or removal work that might be needed on site. The services of an arborist will also be required throughout the construction process if any injury to trees or encroachment into a tree protection zone occurs. They can identify strategies to mitigate tree injury, follow up with post-injury assessments, and provide remediation if needed. The review fee structure is based on the number of trees within 6 meters of the subject site. There is a base fee of $500 for any site with 1 to 15 trees, and there is an additional $20 fee for each additional tree. If one or more trees must be removed, there is a removal fee of $200 for the first tree and an additional $100 for each tree after that. The City of Markham will also take a security deposit as part of the tree permit process. Applicants or owners will be required to provide the city with a letter of credit or a certified check for 3 types of tree preservation securities. The first one covers tree protection fencing, and the security amount is based on the number of trees on site. This security allows you to install the tree protection fencing after the tree permit has been issued, but before construction starts. Staff from Markham Tree Preservation will still need to perform a site inspection to verify that the required tree protection measures have been put in place according to the tree assessment and preservation plan. The second type of security is for any replanting conditions. If you are removing a tree and any replacement trees are required, we will be holding a security for the cash in lieu value of each tree that you are required to replant. That security will be returned post-construction when the replacement trees have been planted and inspected. The third type of security that we will be taking is for the value of the retained trees on the subject site, including those on neighboring and city property. The security amount is based on a formula that calculates the value of the trees to be preserved. We focus on trees that could be impacted by site access routes, excavation, or servicing. Securities will be returned as long as there are no permit violations once tree preservation staff have inspected the health of the trees marked for preservation. City of Markham tree preservation requires that fencing has been installed and approved by the tree preservation team before demolition or construction occurs on site. That is to ensure that there is no machinery, excavation, or material storage within the tree protection zones. Standard tree protection fencing should be constructed of plywood on a wooden frame. We accept other types of fencing or hoarding where applicable. Here's an example of orange snow fencing, which can be used where sightlines are an issue. Horizontal hoarding can be used if machinery access is required and must encroach on tree protection zones. Here are some more examples of standard plywood hoarding. Signage displaying the tap is now required prior to construction. The tree preservation team will provide you with a template. You will be required to post the tap on the construction site and make sure that it is visible from the street. This will let members of the public know that tree permits have been issued. The City of Markham requires tree protection fencing signage to be installed on site. We will provide you with the template for the signage, and you will need to post it in various locations on site. A member of the tree preservation team will inspect the fencing and sign and date it to show that it has been approved. It is your responsibility to ensure that all people working on the site are following the tree protection measures outlined in the tree assessment and preservation plan. Stay out of tree protection zones as much as possible to avoid potential injury to trees. If an unforeseen injury to a protected tree does occur during the construction process, your arborist will need to perform an assessment of the injury and provide us with a tree impact report. Remediation measures such as mulching, root pruning, or fertilization may be required. Any pruning or root pruning must be carried out by a qualified arborist. There may be some additional requirements that are not applicable to all sites. Boundary trees require written permission from the joint owner for injury or removal. We also require that the owner purchases and maintains commercial liability insurance, auto insurance, and sudden and accidental pollution insurance. We will also sometimes require an arborist retention letter to show that an arborist has been retained to perform any sensitive work to trees on the site. We have a conditions agreement that we provide to applicants before a tree permit is issued. This will outline the conditions of the tree permit and must be signed and returned by the owner to confirm that the tree permit conditions have been accepted. During Cycle 1 review, we will review the TAP and the grading plan and provide comments as necessary about potential design changes or replacement tree requirements, and we will return those comments to the applicant. Once the applicant addresses the comments, provided there are no major design changes during Cycle 2 review, tree preservation staff will begin to prepare the conditions agreement that outlines what is required from the applicant. Provided all of those pieces are in place during the Cycle 3 review, we will issue the tree permit.